Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video doing GWV Sunday Round-Up for today's second video. So the Sunday Round-Up is back after being laid off back in August in favour of winter updates. We've got to January, and so now it is time to bring back the Sunday Round-Up. So we'll be looking at things like sea-surface temperature, server activity, the QBO, all of that sort of stuff will be included in the Sunday Round-Up, and I shall get on with that for you very shortly. It'll be your eclectic mix of this and that, and of course we will look at weather for the next 10 to 14 days and beyond as well in the video. I'm supposed to be live streaming at 6. I had a migraine last night, so I'm not feeling 100%. So I'll let everybody know this afternoon on the community page and elsewhere whether I will indeed be live streaming. If I am, it'll be from 6 o'clock. But you know, I'm just feeling a little bit fragile this morning. So I'll let everybody know a little bit later whether I'm live streaming at 6. The spring update has been released as well, of course. So the first spring 2021 update has been released, and yeah, have a look at that. It'll be placed on the spring updates page at GWV.com, which hasn't been created yet, but it will be. I will get it created tomorrow. Now, at this point in the Sunday Round-Up, I would usually be showing you like a collection of pictures that people have sent to me, their weather pictures. I'm afraid I'm going to make an output with this. I'm afraid that unfortunately I will not be showing any more weather pictures in the videos. So it's very unfortunate and very regrettable, and I know how many of you like to submit your pictures to be featured in the videos, but it is just something I am not prepared to do anymore. There was a very serious incident last weekend over the new year, where a weather channel, or a certain weather channel, exposed Savvy's address from a picture that had been submitted into one of the weather videos, and you know, it got really nasty. But the video where Savvy's address was being exposed was very nasty and very threatening. I had to contact the police, had an hour-long conversation with the police on Monday. I think it's Monday. Yeah, I think it's Monday. So yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare over the past few days, and because of that, I'm not going to take the risk of showing anybody's pictures again. Of course, I could just show open space and fields and things, but then I will find myself in a situation where I'm vetting pictures, you know, to see which ones could reveal information and which ones are harmless and safe, and it would be a huge responsibility on my shoulders to do that. So excuse me, the whole incident has sort of shown me that there are certain people out there that will go to those kind of lengths to cause harm, you know, to others, and I am just not prepared to do that anymore. So with great regret, it is with great regret, and I really am very sorry about this, but it's with great regret that I will not be showing any more pictures in the videos, and you know, I can't put myself and the channel at risk of that kind of drama happening again. So no more pictures in videos. The channel has been closed down. Fortunately, this account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy prohibiting content designed to harass, bully, and threaten. So the channel is gone. I think this person does have, well, I know this person has another channel as well. You know, so that's it though. And I could tell you a lot more, but I think that pretty much is as much as I need to tell you. The channel is gone. The videos have been taken down. And yeah, it was a bad few days that I had, and Savvy had, particularly because it's Savvy that was you know, that had his privacy invaded and was threatened. So that's it though. That's it. But the channel is gone. The video's been taken down. I've spoken to the police, and as I say, we will not be showing any more weather pictures in the videos again. So it is with regret, and I am sorry about it. But I cannot take the risk that this situation might reoccur at some other point. So there we go, no more weather pictures, but we will be showing you your favourite weather content from now on, of course, or we will continue to show your favourite weather content, just without weather pictures. Right, let's get on with the video then, with Sunday Roundup. Okay, so we're going to begin by having a look at the QBO, the quasi-biennial oscillation. So we have the QBO number in for December. So we're still in the westerly phase of the QBO. And December's QBO number came out at plus 10.37. So yeah, the westerly QBO goes on. We know that last year had a failure of the ECQBO, so the first months of 2020 saw like these slightly negative numbers, slightly negative through the first half of 2020, which is the beginning of the ECQBO, but it failed through the summer. We had a failure of the ECQBO, and then it reversed and went into the westerly phase of the quasi-biennial oscillation through the second half of the year. So it's a pretty strong westerly QBO phase. Well, you know, it's not marginal. This is a proper westerly QBO with plus 10, plus 11, and then plus 10.37. We wait to see where the QBO will go into January. This is how the QBO chart looks at NASA. So where we've got these blue colours, this is where we've got the easterly phase of the QBO at the top of the stratosphere. These sandy colours just here are the westerly phase of the QBO. Now this is like the boundary layer of the atmosphere called the troposphere, just here from 30 to 50 HPA, and that is particularly where we've got the westerly QBO at the moment. So we have got a westerly QBO in the troposphere, but the easterly QBO is above it in the stratosphere. This takes us up to 10 HPA up here. So easterly QBO at the top of the strat, westerly QBO in the troposphere. It looks like this easterly QBO in the stratosphere is strengthening, and I've got a feeling through 2021 this is likely to descend. So I think we will go into the easterly phase of the QBO, although we said that this time last year when we had the easterly QBO at the top of the stratosphere again, and we thought it was going to descend, but it did not. We just have these raggedy sandy colours continuing through the troposphere and then strengthening second half of 2020. But that's quite unusual. So I think all being well and everything else considered, I think we probably will go into the easy phase of the QBO through the course of 2021. Of course, we'll be monitoring the QBO through the rest of the year. So activity, next is how the solar disk is looking on outside of this today from solarham.net. We've got a spotless solar disk, no sunspots visible on the solar disk, so therefore solar activity is at very low levels and is expected to remain at very low levels for the next 3 days. This is Galsworthy's solar activity tracker sent through by our good friend James Ackrill. Thank you so much, James, for sending this through. Solar activity is on its way down. So the orange line is depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot activity. We had a big spike in activity back in December, early December. We really spiked up the sunspot numbers, but they've been dropping since. So that all lifts up the trend lines. You have the thick green and thick red lines. But since like the middle of December, solar activity has been dropping. See the green and red lines sort of falling away. Again as we go into the early part of January. And so yeah, solar activity is on its way down at the moment. We're still at a low level of solar activity. We're like 2 years now. It's like second year solar cycle number 25. The first solar cycle 25 began in December 2019. So last year was like the first year of solar cycle 25. This will be like the second year of solar cycle 25. So solar activity will be increasing through this year as we move further into the solar cycle, but it's quite a slowish sort of start to solar cycle. Once again, see over the past few days, wave this orange line here on the floor of the chart, kind of flatlining away over the past few days. Solar activity has been any sunspots, so it's been at very, very low levels and will remain at very low levels, as I say, for the next 3 days by the look of it. We keep you updated on the GWV Solar Activity Tracker, of course. This being sent through by a good friend, Richard. Thank you so much, Rich, for sending this through, Richard Short. This is the current, this is showing the current stretch of spotlessness and the total for 2020. So the current stretch is 7 days, which for 2021, I should have said, is 70% of the year. 70% of this year has not had any sunspots. Although, of course, bear in mind, we are only 10 days into the year. But yeah, starting 2021, starting the year on a very low note with solar activity. 2020 came out with 208 days without sunspots. That's 57% of the year. And of course, our solar minimum year was 2019, which had 281 days without sunspots. That was 77% of the year. So at the moment, we're actually close to 2019 with our percentage in terms of spotlessness. But bear in mind, we're only 10 days into the year, whereas 2019 was 365, wasn't it? So yeah, low levels of solar activity, but we are expecting sunspot numbers to increase this year as we go further on into solar cycle 25, and we will be keeping a close eye on that. There was always those first 2 or 3 always the first 2 or 3 winters of the solar cycle have the greatest chance of being colder. Here we are having a rather colder winter. This second winter of solar cycle 25, we're having a slightly colder winter, so make of that what you will. Right, this is how the oceans were looking when we did the New Year's Day roundup. So, of course, we've got our 3 areas of interest. We've got the ENSO region just here. This is from the 30th of December. We've got the ENSO region just here. We've got the North Pacific over here. And we've got the North Atlantic over there. So that's how the oceans were looking last week. This is how, well, sort of last year, I suppose, really. It's a funny time of year, isn't it, when you're into the beginning of a new year. So it was last week, but also last year, 30th of December. Anyway, this is how the oceans are looking now. So this is for the 8th of January. Again, we've got the ENSO region just there. We've got the signature of La Nina, of course. So let's deal with that. First of all, go back to the 30th of December. That's how things were looking in the ENSO region for the 30th of December. This is how things look now. So very little change. La Nina signal continues. It looks like it's a sort of central western-based La Nina now. Coldest anomalies are sort of through the central western part of the equatorial Pacific. It isn't as cold over in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific. Going north into the northern Pacific, that's how things looked last week. This is how things look this week. So again, it's a little bit cold on average in the northern part of the Pacific Ocean. It does also, the northern Pacific is cooling down a little bit, probably in response to the developing La Nina. Probably in response to that developing La Nina, the wider Pacific Ocean is showing signs of cooling down. And then moving into the Atlantic Ocean, again, that's how the Atlantic Ocean was looking on the 30th of December. This is how the Atlantic Ocean looks now. Very little change. It remains significantly warmer than average over tropical Atlantic, despite the big hurricane season that we had. Continues to be very, very much warmer than average in the tropics. Going northwards into the Northern Pacific, warmer than average, like from Greenland down to Newfoundland. A little bit cooler as we go over towards the UK and Ireland. Generally, the Atlantic is in quite a warm state, though. And we wait and see where that goes over the next few months. We will continue to monitor the oceans and solar activity and the QBO and everything else. We will continue to monitor it all in the coming weeks and months. Solar Oscillation Index looks like this. So this is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state, not driving anything. So in terms, it just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. It's measuring air pressure in the Southern Ocean between Tahiti and Darwin from the Bureau of Meteorology. So we can see that we have had very positive numbers with the SOI. So we've had plus 20.86, plus 25.01, plus 32.12, really positive numbers, plus 18.05, plus 23.42, plus 25.40. This is atmospheric state that's all indicative of La Nina. We have very positive numbers, then the atmosphere in the southern ocean will be in a La Nina type state. We have negative numbers, then the atmosphere will be in an El Nino type state. So the fact having so much positivity of the Southern Oscillation Index really does tell us that the atmosphere in the Southern Ocean has gone into a proper sort of La Nina type setup at the moment. The 30-day SOI average has lifted up, so it's gone from like plus 10 up to plus 20, so a dramatic rise in the Southern Oscillation Index over the past 30 days, going back to the middle of December and up to where we are now as of the 10th of January. So the atmosphere is well and truly into a La Nina type setup. Arctic Oscillation, observe the forecast looking like this. So black line shows where we've been with the AA, red lines at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic Oscillation to go. So remember, it's just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state, not driving anything. So in terms, it just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. When the black line is in positive territory, we can see that the AO has been positive. That tells us we've had low pressure up over the Arctic. Conversely, though, when the black line has been in negative territory, that tells us that we've had blocking over the Arctic, that we've had a high latitude blocking through this winter. So far we have had a negative Arctic oscillation up to where we are right now. So the AO has been negative and is expected to, or forecast by GFS ensembles, to stay negative into the second half of January. So you see all of those red lines staying in negative territory through to the second half of January. And yeah, so blocking will go on. Blocking will continue if that's right. We do finish up with a little bit of scatter. Some of these ensemble members are going rising up a little bit. Some of them are going even more negative, if that's possible. But solid sort of negativity of the Arctic oscillation through into the second half of January. The NAO also looks like this. So again, black line shows where we've been with the North Atlantic oscillation, red lines at the end, GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO to go. So this measuring air pressures between Iceland and the Azores, of course. So we've been negative with the NAO as well, particularly through January so far. We're just there, and the GFS ensembles are keeping the NAO neutral to negative as well. So both the indexes are in negative territory. This is probably a signal for ongoing cold weather. Really, certainly a signal for northern blocking, but of course where that northern blocking sits is critical as to who gets the cold. But when you have both the indexes negative of this, it is probably an indication that we're going to see a continuation of pretty cold weather. Means how the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking for the next couple of weeks. So red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Liverpool. We're actually going to see the temperature lifting up a little bit over the coming days, so it is going to get milder through the next 3 to 5 days. But after that, we're going to see the temperatures, upper air temperatures, going colder again. There are some very cold ensemble members. These ones down here are dropping down to like -15 at 850 HPA. They're outliers, but you know, they are very, very cold ensemble members. Generally, most of these ensemble members are on the cold side of average, but we do have some warmer ensemble members up here, of course. So there is quite a lot of scatter, but you can see from the ensemble membership, the white line, but generally through to the second half of January, the upper air temperatures will be getting colder. Precipitation wise, there's going to be lots of precipitation coming up over the coming days as well. So as it goes milder, it will be going wetter as well. Through to the second half of January, generally quite unsettled. Of course, as it's getting colder, we have to start thinking again about possibility of some snow as we move into second half of January. Generally cold upper air temperatures and plenty of precipitation spikes. Temperature anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of January going to be a little bit below average, especially so for northern parts of the country. Most parts of Europe looking really cold now as well. So rapidly cooling down with these anomaly maps across much of Europe. Precipitation anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of January are going to be average to slightly above average. So a cool, perhaps eventually quite cold and unsettled outlook. This is how the UK Met is looking for Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we're going to have a little ridge of high pressure through the country, bringing dry weather. But there will be another weather system coming in from off the Atlantic that brings a band of rain and possibly some snow with it. Then we go through into Thursday, and we see that system is struggling to get across country high, so tries to rise over Scandinavia again. This system is struggling to get across the country, so rain, possibly some snow associated with that, and then high pressure begins to build in, or tries to build in, as we go through to next weekend. By Saturday the 16th of January, things are flattening off again, with this area of low pressure turning the wind back round into the west. The midnight GFS run looks like this. So again, we have this little transient ridge from Tuesday into Wednesday, which could bring some night frost. Then a weather system coming in across the country through the course of Wednesday to Thursday. That brings a band of rain that might turn to sleet or snow on its leading edge in the north. Through to next weekend, heights will rise as this area of high pressure builds in across much of Western Europe, so that'll turn us drier, and it will be colder as well next weekend, chance of frost and fog. And then heading up towards day 10, the low pressure starts to dive southwards with a ridge rising in the North Atlantic. We start to pull in cold northerly winds and turn more unsettled, so turning colder and more unsettled as we move up to day 10, which will be Wednesday the 20th of January. Beyond that, it's going to be cold and unsettled with northerly to northeasterly winds. They could bring in snow showers northeast parts of the country, and then high pressure builds in across the country as we move up to the end of the GFS run, which gets us to 26th of January. Have high pressure sitting over top of the country, and it could be frosty and foggy under that area of high pressure. So probably a continuation of quite cold weather, more or less to the end of January with the GFS midnight run. GM looks like this. Again, a ridge through the country from Tuesday through to Wednesday. Then low pressure tries to head in from off the Atlantic, turn up against this Scandinavian high that's trying to get going, and sort of stalls, slips away. That might bring rain and snow to parts of the country in the second half of this coming week. Then the high pressure builds in behind it, turns us mainly dry. It'll be cold under that area of high pressure and frosty. Heading up in towards day 10, we find the high pressure pulling out into the Atlantic, low pressure diving southwards. That brings a northerly with it. So as we move up towards day 10, the GM goes very cold with northerly winds bringing in snow showers to many parts of the country, and a proper sort of bitter northerly there. And then the ECM WF looks like that. So again, we've got this little ridge of high pressure across the country on Wednesday. Then we go through into Thursday and Friday, and we find that heights sort of rise across the country, so it turns mainly dry, but will be cold and frosty. And then low pressure heads in from off the Atlantic through towards day 10, so turning more unsettled and about trough of low pressure. There could be some snow involved with that perhaps, and then finishing back under high pressure. Not as much of a northerly with the ECMWF today as the other two around day 10. This is a precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. So outbreaks of rain driving southwards in the next day or so. A metal weather system coming in off the Atlantic. That could bring some snow to Scotland, rain elsewhere through the middle part of the week. That slips away, we begin to go drier and colder. Then another system coming in from the Atlantic, that brings some snow to England and Wales there. As we get through to the 17th of January, we've got snow across England and Wales, some of it quite heavy before that clears away, and we go drier and colder as we move up towards day 10. But still a suggestion of some snow around, despite the fact we don't have much of a northerly with the ECM, or as much of a northerly, still some snow around. On day 10, let's see if the options on the table have appeared at the Icelandic Met Office. Yes, they have, so we'll just refresh the page and have a look at these. These are the options on the table from the ECM ensembles via the Icelandic Met Office for day 10. This gets us to the 20th of January. You have 15 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our south and east. High pressure is away to our northwest. Winds coming in from an east or northeasterly direction, cold and wintry. 9 again with a mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland. Low pressure to our south and east. Winds are in from a north to northeasterly direction with that, so that's another cold option. 8 including the control and the operational run with high pressure in the Atlantic. Low pressure is to the east. Not as cold with those, a little bit more anticyclonic, so drier, and the northerly with that is like shunted off into Europe. 8 again with the mid-Atlantic ridge just here, low pressure to our east and southeast, winds coming in from a north to northeasterly direction. 7 again with northern blocking combined with mid-Atlantic ridge, low pressure to our south, winds in from a northeasterly or easterly direction, cold and wintry of that. And 4 again with a mid-Atlantic ridge heading up towards Greenland, low pressure to our southeast, winds in from a northeasterly direction. Most of the options are looking cold at day 10. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 25th of January. 13 members of the ECM ensembles again, but mid-Atlantic ridge heading up towards Greenland, trough of low pressure over top of the country. So more unsettled with that, and could still be cold with that option. We might be sort of starting to draw up some slightly milder air from the Atlantic, but probably still quite cold overall. 9 again with a mid-Atlantic ridge heading up towards Greenland, low pressure over top of the country and to our east, winds in from the north-northeast with that one. Another 9 with mid-Atlantic ridge moving towards Greenland, low pressure is to the east, winds are in from the north. 7 with low pressure over the top of the country. That's going to be a milder option, less northern blocking, allowing more of an Atlantic influence. Another 7, again, probably milder, low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, although a reduced number of northern blocking, reduced amount of northern blocking there. And then 6 with low pressure to our east and also to our west, high pressure to our south. That's going to be a slightly milder option. So we might turn mild in 2 weeks, but even then it's not conclusive that we will. CFS V2 looks like this. We're drawing to the end of the Sunday Roundup now. So CFS V2 looks like this. These are 500 millibar heights, break it down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 10th to the 16th of January. The coming week will have high pressure blocking in northern latitudes, low pressure be across central Europe. Winds will be coming in from a northeasterly direction, cold and wintry. Week 2 is going to take us from the 17th to 23rd of January, again with northern blocking, low pressure to our north and east, winds coming in from a north to northeasterly direction, cold and wintry with that one as well. Week 3 is going to take us from the 24th to the 30th of January, low pressure in off the Atlantic, high pressure up around Greenland, winds coming in from a westerly direction, again looking quite cold and wintry. And then week 4 take us from the 31st January to 6th of February. Northern blocking goes on. It's a bit of a change from the CFS today. Northern blocking goes on around Greenland, low pressure in the Atlantic. Jet streams push southwards as well, and we could be bringing in quite cold winds from the north and from the northeast with that one too. This is how February overall is looking with CFS V2 lastly. So 700 millibar height anomaly shows low pressure in the Atlantic, high pressure through the central Atlantic, low pressure in the North Atlantic, high pressure in the central Atlantic, bringing in a westerly flow, probably mild and Atlantic driven, although there is quite a large amount of northern blocking within the northern latitudes. So very similar to how January was looking like in December, hints of northern blocking, and so a cold month could evolve from that. It might do. Right, that's it for your Sunday Roundup then. So we're back off, up and running with the Sunday Roundup. So if you enjoy this video, please can you click like, let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We put on 70 subscribers yesterday. Unbelievable a number of subscribers we put on yesterday. So please sub to our channel. Tell your friends to sub to the channel as well. And thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. So I may live stream after 6 o'clock. I'll let everybody know this afternoon how I'm feeling. So just watch out for that. There may be a live stream from 6 o'clock, but I'm unsure whether I will or not today. So I shall let everybody know about that. Don't get to check out the spring update if you would like to do that. But for the Sunday Roundup, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.